Okay guys, so we're doing an interesting one today. I'm going to collect this little orange Benelli keyway thing, and I'm going to teach Gilera how to service it himself, starting with a carb clean. I think he's got some oil and stuff like that to put in as well. So guys, to continue today's video, this video is going to be about, can I help you to help your motorbike? So a bit like the project I'm doing with Sultan, I'm not going to exactly do it for you, I'm going to do it with you and we're going to work together. So that's what we're doing today. I'm just going to park the fan though around the corner because I have to. And then we're going to come back. Technically it's a non-runner, although we heard it run the other day. I think this carburettor is going to be full of crap. And I think we'll need to change the fuel filter. Let's see. And it's just a bit temperamental, this bike at the moment. So we're going to have a good look over it. If we get it starting and running really well, then we're going to paint the exhaust black. We've got some high temp black. And any other bits I learnt from mine, I'll have a little look over and I'll see if we can tweak it a little bit more. The air filter looked brand new when we checked the other day. So if you see this guy on the video, that's Gary or Gilera?
Yeah.
Gilera?
Yeah, I can take that.
Oh,
You can call me anything with G.
G, alright, G. Yes, and if Sultan turns up today, we'll kick him out. We won't let him in. So yes, it'll be fun. So guys, Gary put the new battery in and started stripping the exhaust. That's kind of perfect. It's what we need. It could have just been flooded yesterday. Let's have a look, see if we get anything. I mean, it still needs its carb clean. Right. So we're undoing this clamp here. We're undoing this clamp here, and then it's basically you kind of wrestle it out. That's kind of what's going on. So you'd normally be pulling this all back or trying to pull the front out, wrestle it out, get it kind of to the sides. We're not going to fully disconnect it, and then we'll be doing our carb cleaning at the sides, in keeping it intact with itself to minimize any interruption in this. So guys, we're keeping this carb clean. Simple. We've tilted the carb to the side. We're going to be taking the bowl off. We'll be popping the jets, spraying the jets through, cleaning it out, checking the bowl. We'll know if bad fuel's gone through here by the bowl, but I think bad fuel has gone through because the filter was letting out quite red looking fuel. I think this bowl will be gunked with either varnish or some sort of red residue, maybe something from inside the tank. I think we'll see something interesting, and that's the stuff that makes the bike an intermittent runner. Cool. So now you just kind of wiggle that and pop it. There'll be some fuel still sitting in it, just be aware. It's only, that's it, there you go. Alright, now let's have a look in there. Yeah, oh man, okay. You know what guys, I don't like being right, but I also do. Okay, so you see that stuff? Yeah. First of all, look at the colour of the actual fuel. Look, there you go. Guys, what you just saw on camera is exactly right. I'm going to let it all settle, and the fuel's quite clear. You see that? Now watch what happens with that red stuff. It mixes in. Then what happens is the jet sucks it up, and it solidifies again in the actual jets themselves, and that makes this bike an intermittent starter and runner. So this bike was in desperate need of a carb clean. So, yeah. So we are going to do what we said we're going to do. First thing we're going to clean is this. When we spray chemicals into here, we need to be aware that they all mess with the rubber. So we're going to try and keep the rubber kind of separate. We're spraying in here. We need to get out all of this red because it's just that's basically rust that solidifies and then turns back into a liquid and then solidifies, and that's exactly what ruins the jets and the carbs. In fact, if we pop a jet or lay any money, some of the holes will be blocked with that stuff. So I've got Gary here just cleaning out the jets. I've shown him exactly what to do. A couple of them holes were blocked and a couple of them were kind of partially blocked. This is where lovely. This is where people get all funny about, you know, ultrasonic cleaning and stuff. I mean, no, just pop your jets out, spray your carb up and down, and get it all sorted. Now, the main jet we're going to look at is up in here. That's the idle jet. That's the jet that idles the bike, and this bike had a slight idling problem. So we're definitely going to pop that out and clean that tunnel. And then this is a quick carb clean. This is ready to go back on. So let's get that pilot jet out and see if that's clogged at all. So we've done that carb clean. I'm not even calling that a basic carb clean, guys. There was rust in the bowl, rust was being sucked up, and the jets were clogged. So that was a full carb clean, even though we haven't had to fully pull it off and mess with anything else. Next hardest part from here is just reseating it all. I'm going to get Gary just to muscle it in. That's all you kind of have to do. You just muscle the whole thing back in, and it will start like a pro. But we're not finished there, guys. We're going to do two things. We're going to check the oil. The oil looks low to me, actually. It's very low, actually. And we're going to clean the spark plug. So, Gary, you just have to muscle that back in, mate.
Let me try. Looks good to me.
Yeah, that was nice and smooth, mate.
Yeah.
And then you just you nip up the two bolts that you undid before. Not super tight, but nice and tight. Make sure the airbox is fully pushed on. There you go, lovely. And make sure the carb is fully seated forward. So I've only got one hand, but will you help me pull it forward this way? No, the other way, towards the engine. So we want to squeeze it in more. Yeah, that's it. A little bit more. A little bit more. Alright, hang on, I'm going to put the camera down. 1 minute, guys. So, guys, what I was showing you there is a really important point. There's a notch there for a reason. It was sitting out a bit far. It probably would have worked, but we want it to be secure. Right, Gary, when you're working on the air, I'm going to put it in for you. There you go. Now nip that up, mate. Same with this seal, guys. Put it in. What's that?
Can you push it a little bit further?
That's as far as I can go on the back. That's max. This bike's going to start like a pro, guys, but we are going to clean the spark plug, and we are going to change the oil. The oil is very low anyway, I'm surprised, and it looks quite brown. Tiny bit more on that. Go down, see, it feels a little bit, nip that a little bit more, mate. Yeah, a little bit more. Lovely. So this bike will start like a pro now, I guarantee you. But look, this is what I'm looking at, this oil. It's at its lowest level. And the other day I tried to dip it and I couldn't get to it, so it is a bit low anyway. And we don't know if this oil's ever been changed from factory. We just don't know that. So Gerjan, you've got new oil, haven't you? Let's just double check before we drop this, make sure it's the right one. Lucky we checked. It's the wrong oil.
Right.
Alright, I'll show you why. 2-stroke, 2T. This is a 4-stroke engine. So this oil will be very thin.
Alright.
But that's okay. I think we have enough oil in here. Guys, lesson learnt there. Not necessarily Gary's fault, although it was Gary's fault. No. Did you buy that off the shelf? No. Oh, you just had it kicking about. Oh, that's all right then. Guys, if you put that 2T oil in, you'll blow your engine up very, very quickly. It's very thin oil. Your engine won't last a week. So, good to know. Also, I don't know if Gary's been topping the oil up with that stuff.
No,
so let's drop what we've got in the bike. Let's do it. Do you know what, guys? Let's do it properly. We know now that the bike's going to start like a pro. Let's warm it up so that every inch of that oil spills out. Let's do that. It will start.
Connect it over here, no? Connect it.
It will start first turn of the key. Oh, good point. But they'll. Oh no, we drained it all out. Good point. Okay, so let's connect in the new. Let's throw in the new filter. I've got like hundreds in here from Jake. Jake left a whole bag full. New filter in, and we'll get this fired up, warmed up before dropping the oil. That is the best way to do it, guys, because this oil is pretty much stone cold, isn't it? If you get it nice and warm and thin, it will drain out a bit quicker and a bit easier. So guys, I was just explaining to Gary that there's an arrow on these fuel filters. The arrow points towards the way of the flow. So the flow goes down towards the carb, the arrow goes down. It's as simple as that. If you do it the wrong way round, it won't work. It will block the flow rate. It will cause you problems. It may not even start up. This bike's going to start first, turn off the key, absolutely no doubt at all. That's it, that's it. That's it, let go, let go, let go. There you go. And what I am going to do is, we talked about the idle being a bit low. Right, try that. And let it sit. We'll let it warm up. There you go. We'll give it a minute to warm up, and then we'll adjust the idle properly. And we're also warming up the oil because we're going to drop the oil. Cool. We'll give it a good 3, 4, 5 minutes. So guys, we're trying to warm up the oil, obviously, so Gary's going to give it a quick run. It wasn't revving properly originally, so we're just seeing if it revs a little bit more. Remember, we're on these roads, they're private around here, it's a private estate, but actually Gary's fully legal on it. The reason I say that is because the number plate is taped up. Sounds nice. Yeah. He's right down there. Oh wow, it sounds and looks lovely. Yeah, that's riding perfectly, guys. We haven't even cleaned the spark plug yet, not that that makes much difference. That's running well. Come on then, we'll drop the oil. So I have made Gary aware that the exhaust is obviously hot and the oil will be a little bit hot, but not loads. We're dropping the oil. We're looking for colour, consistency. Is it contaminated? Don't burn your hand. There you go. Lack of flow, maybe. That's interesting. It's not very flowy, is it? Let's pop the lid up here. Ah, very, very low amount of oil in there, guys. Shocking, actually. So we are acknowledging that it's very dark. It is quite thin, actually. Not stupidly, but it is quite thin, and there is kind of crap in there. So, I mean, there was bits of crap in the bowl to start with, so that's a bit unfair. It is thin. It feels really quite thin compared to what we're putting in. This could be the original factory oil. It probably is, actually. We're just going to let it drain for a couple of minutes before topping it up. Definitely not enough in there. I believe this engine takes 1.1. It tells us somewhere, if I remember from mine. Otherwise, I'll check online. 1.1. I'm not sure that is 1.1. I'm not sure that's even 500, actually, guys. So let's check and see what actual what we need, how much, and we'll top it up. So guys, the oil there, as you can see, is on the top mark, but we haven't spun this engine over, so you can't rely on that. You have to spin the engine over 30 seconds to a minute, then you shut it out, then you wait a few minutes for the oil to settle, and you check it one last time. You'll find that it's low or lower, and you need to top it up. But it's safe to actually idle for a minute at the moment. So let's get this thing warmed up. It should start first turn again. Side stand. I bet the side stand's down, and yes, of course it is. I should just take all that off today, really, shouldn't I? And what else? Clutch. The next things to go wrong on these bikes are side stand switch and clutch switch. So I normally just deal with them now, but they're working at the moment, so it's not a huge issue. Big G knows how to find me if they do go wrong, so that's good. I think it sounds lovely. We'll tighten your chain a little bit, that's a bit loose, yeah? And we still need to clean the spark plug. I feel like we were missing something, and you want to put some paint on the exhaust. On a warm day like today, that'll dry in seconds, so that's good. All we're doing, guys, is turning it over so that oh, we're actually running in first gear. That's why it didn't start without the clutch. Yeah, we're just turning it over to get the oil circulated so that we can check it. But yeah, let's get it out of first gear. It's hard to do with your right foot because I'm lumpy. Like, come on, neutral. Ah, left. It's hard to get your right foot to not be so beastly. Oh, I give up. Oh, come on. There it is. Right, we're going to torque the chain a little bit, guys. It's a little bit loose. Watch this. Wow. Yeah. Tiny little bit back. Half a turn of that. Half a turn on each side. And that should be absolutely fine. Other than that, yes, spark plug clean, oil top up, exhaust paint. I will also check the new battery for charging before we go anywhere. That oil is going to be disposed of properly before anyone tells me off. It goes back into a bottle. In fact, that bottle's not empty. I've got another one in here. You fill up the bottles and then you take them to your local skip yard and they dispose of them appropriately. What else would you considering painting? So I think, if I remember rightly,
that one.
I think
we can do this bit over here.
Do you want to do them?
Yeah.
Problem with doing them is they're quite tufty. The paint we put on will come off easy.
Yeah.
That's the problem with them.
Do you reckon we can do?
We can do the exhaust.
This bit over here.
We should definitely do there where it's rusting. Yeah. What we'll do is I've got a rust treatment in there or some hammerite. We'll definitely put that on anywhere that's starting to rust.
Let's do the exhaust, then we will see.
And yeah, we'll give the exhaust a coat.
Probably those.
I think they're quite hard to get off. If I remember rightly, so you take...
I think there's a screw over here, no?
And this one. But you can work that out if you want to pop them off. Start. Yeah.
Well, you know, the side panels are grey as well, so probably.
Alright, let me check. I feel like I was going to do that last time, and I feel like it was a pain, but maybe they just seized. Let's get some WD-40 in them, and we'll pop them off to give them a coat if that's what you want to do. Next bit, simple enough, guys. Just need to take that silver off using the 3 screws, keep the screws safe. Then we'll rub it down using the method I used yesterday, and we'll put a layer of high temp black on, or maybe I'll just put some satin on that because it's a bit of a waste using the good stuff. Also don't need the high temp on the outside, but we can use the high temp on the rest of it. It will look much better, and it will help protect it. And then there's a tiny odd bit of rust here and there that we're just going to use the here, look, we'll grind it down basically and then treat it. So guys, when I said I'm going to pull the wheel back just half a turn, what I mean is loosen up the back nut, which is what I've done there. It's a 13 on this bike. Then you loosen up the main nut here, this one, probably a 17, but I've been wrong every time today. Then when I say half a turn, I'm assuming this wheel is aligned, it looks aligned. I'll do something like that, and I'll do half a turn down to there, and then I'll do a half a turn on the other side, and that should pull the wheel back appropriately on both sides, and should tension the chain enough for it to be safe. At the moment it's not safe. So that's all I mean. So the next thing to do is this big old nut here. Get a bit of WD in there, watch out for your disc. if it does get on your disc, brake cleaner, that's what it's there for. Half a turn, pull the chain back. At the moment we've gone from this, I mean that's extremely loose, and we'll be going to it being quite a bit tighter. So apologies guys about the dodgy filming, but this nut's undone now, that's loose. So like I said, half a turn on this one, so you go half a turn in. So get this locking nut out the way so it doesn't throw you. Now this is practically upright like that, you see. Half a turn round, make sure it grips. For some reason the 13's not fitting on this right. I'm going to go back to stop and I'm going to get a 14. Back with a 14, keep it where it is, keep it taut up like that. Half a turn down and around to the bottom, so top to the bottom. If it's slightly off, it's not anyway. So on this side, obviously bottom to the top, you do the opposite, bottom to the top, make sure it pinches. And then straight away go to your chain and see what the difference is. I'm going to do one more on each side. Top to bottom, and then on this side, because it's opposite, bottom to top, and then we go back to the chain again and we look at it. It's going to need one more. We're basically pulling the wheel back. I'm just seeing if there's any more movement here. I'll go another half, top to bottom. Otherwise this chain is at its maximum stretch and it needs a new chain soon. Let's just try and save it enough. One more. I think we're going to max it out, this one, guys. Sorry about the footage. I think this one's maxed out. Hopefully this makes it a bit safer than it is. One more, let's see. So it's still not as good as I'd like, but it's maxed out, guys. So new chain is due at some point, or you can pop a link out, but it's not, I don't know how to do it. I always break the tools. So guys, it'd be silly to do all of this stuff and not pop the spark plug. I've already loosened it, or I feel like I have. Let's see, we're looking for it being too black, too white, or too rusty. Either way, we're going to clean it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's pretty black. Actually, it's a very healthy colour on top, guys. That kind of white hot tip is actually quite good. It's not too white. That looks like a fairly healthy plug to me. I'm going to give it a clean anyway, and we'll chuck it back in. The gap seems great. It doesn't seem terrible, and that will just help the bike run that tiny bit better. We have done the chain. The chain's good and safe now. The chain should last 6 months to a year. Gary scuffed all of the exhaust and all of the panels that needed to be sprayed. We're going to get a coat on them now. Is that hot oil? If it is, we'll need to get that off. Yeah, so now we're looking at kind of beautifying the bike, which is fun. I'll clean this plug and chuck that back in, and we'll start with the layering some paint on. The main bits, most of this pipe can be seen at the front. Most of the back can't be seen, but we'll give that a coat anyway. The main bits to worry about are them. They're the bits that make the bike different, the actual outside parts. Anything other than that, it's a great running bike at the moment. So that's the main thing. So guys, if it was gloss, I'd do it for Gary, but it's not. It's matte. I like matte, and you know I like matte because it's easy to spray. I'm just going to show Gary roughly what to do, because you can't go too wrong unless you're very close. Shake the can up though, obviously. So Gary, I'm going to show you. Basically, you overlap your last run by half. So if I do this here, you do the next one by half and half and half and half and half. You see that? But if you're too close, it will drip. If you're too far away, you're wasting paint. But look, it will land. So you need to find a nice level that suits you. When you've done one pass, wait a couple of minutes and then come from a new angle and do the same thing. Yeah. There you go, mate. You can't go too wrong. I won't film it because it's a bit intimidating, but we'll show you the before and after. There you go, mate. There you go. Lovely. I'll show you guys the before and after. I'm not going to film the whole thing, but he's doing a great job. So guys, final piece of this puzzle, we piece everything back together. We put the exhaust on. That exhaust has had its coat of satin black. It looks great. All the other parts down there, bar ends, all of these parts here, coat of satin black. They look very good. Gary did it himself. This is it now. This is you bolt the bike back together. And there is nothing more to do. We did the... What have we done? So we've done an oil change. We've done a fuel filter change. We've done a carb clean. We've cleaned and tensioned the chain. We have painted a fair amount of bits and pieces. The air filter's practically new. I checked that. Battery's brand new. Front brake pads are low, but they'll be need changing soon before MOT in September. And that's about it. But that's a lot of work. I mean, we've only been here 2 hours, haven't we? So, and this bike will drive home perfectly, no doubts at all. So, let's piece it back together. I'll get you on the new tripod that I've just picked up, and Gary can get on with it. Companies, it was a white paint.
Why don't you use Sony Vegas?
Use what?
Sony Vegas or something like that.
What's that?
That's like the computer version.
I haven't got a computer.
Just use live.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. At least you called it. Yeah. I've seen worse. Exhaust.
You want to put that on the channel and be like, look, the dangers of...
No, because it was embarrassing you doing it.
Because honestly, you shouldn't really like ride with shorts or anything like that.
Look how much nicer that exhaust. You didn't see it before.
Was it like rustic?
It was just a bit rusty and dirty, but that black's made such a big difference.
Alright, if I saw the bike right now...
I swear, it's made such a big difference.
This looks like a 1.2k bike. Feels like this.
You're always going to money, man. It's always money.
Wheeler dealer.
Alright guys, Gary's just finishing up while Sultan's showing me... What are you showing me? What? Some sort of project. What is that? I don't know if we can see it or not. What is it? That is a GL Silverwing. Oh, I see. I've read this. Hasn't it got like 80,000 miles or something stupid? 57,000. You'd be brave. You'd be really brave. It'd be great fun though, working on it. It wouldn't sell easy though. How much is that? Read it out. Read it out. I'm curious.
For sale, Honda GL 500 Silverwing.
Yep.
57,323 miles.
Yep.
Non-runner for restoration.
Non-runner.
Non-runner. That's the key.
That makes me nervous.
Very tatty but restorable.
I'd see. I don't like it. It makes me nervous.
Got laid up in 2007 when the Alternator.
So it's been sitting 12 years. The stator. Alternator. Yeah.
It has all rear boxes.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a money pit. I can hear it already. Absolute money pit. I'm shocked at how nice this one's come out. This keyway. The black has just made it a new bike.
Chinese bike. It's called Skyjet.
Oh God, Scott, do you know what? I am all for Chinese bikes, but if you asked me what the worst Chinese company bikes are, I would have said Skyjet. Yeah, go on.
The bike is running fine until I turned on one day and the revs were high, and when I took the choke off, it died.
So the bike was running fine until I turned it on.
Yeah. Does the same thing now. I'm not sure why. Maybe the carbs need a clean oil.
So the bike runs fine as long as you don't switch it on. Show me, show us.
That's the bike right
Let's
there.
see.
180 quid.
180 quid. It sounds like it needs a carb clean. I need to have a little flick. Do you mind?
Yeah.
It's but ugly though, isn't it? I mean, even next to you. Do you know what? 180 quid, Sultan. I sent a Street Fighter 125 project. Bike was running fine until I turned it on.
Should I call them up and see if we can hassle the price down?
Do you know what? Where is it though? What area?
I don't know.
I've already hired a fan today.
You might as well.
Did you not do within 30 miles or anything?
No, just
Oh, for God's sakes, it could be anywhere then. Find out what area that's in.
South Croydon.
Oh, South Croydon. Even more south than Croydon. It's a long ride. It's a long drive, that,
Should we
mate.
give him a call? Because 180, if it goes a bit lower, then we can see what we can do.
It's a Skyjet, man.
If I could do it for 100 and see. How much do they go for normally then?
Honestly, as a good running bike with an MOT, 6.
Nah, not worth it.
We could make a nice street fighter out of it.
Yeah, and not save some bloody scratch.
Just call it a 125 with gears. Honestly, I wouldn't even drive for that one. I wouldn't even easily go to Croydon. We'll keep that in mind, like really far deep in mind. Gary, it looks like a new bike. Okay guys, just ignore Sultan chatting crap in the background. We are done here and I am so pleased. The black looks stunning. Absolutely stunning. The bike starts on the key every time like it's meant to, and everything's done now. This bike won't need a service for a year. It does need the front brake pads done before September for the next MOT. It starts on the button every time. And it's not going to cause any problems at all. You can hear that in the engine. It's come out really nice. It's revving strong. It's a great bike. Absolutely great bike. I'm going to just give it a buff, and I've got some special waxes for it. We'll throw on some car wax, and then I've got some special shine products just to protect the paint a bit. And then Gary's good to go. You're not in a rush, are you? All right, give us 20 minutes to give it a polish. We'll chuck some car wax on it, just to help protect the paint. And then I've got some specialist hard wax, and then we're good to go.